You're in an airplane. What do they always tell you to do first? Put your
Put
own
your
mask
mask
on
on
if they come
first.
down. So I have to put my own mask on first in order to have a good day at work. So I have to get my things done. And I feel it when I don't.
Hey, Channel Insiders. Welcome back to Channel Insider Partner POV, your source for untapped opportunities and unfiltered opinions in the IT channel, all to help you make better business decisions. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso. Today, I'm interviewing Paul Vedder, Chief Experience Officer of VXIT, an MSP he's helped lead for a decade. If you know Paul, you may know him for his transparent and outspoken approach to the channel and the IT industry as a whole. Today, we'll dig into what he's learned about leadership 10 years on and how he defines perfection as a managed service provider. Paul, welcome. It's great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here and making this work today. I know you were doing some much more exciting things earlier today with your girls, so I appreciate you coming to this one. This isn't as exciting as your science Olympics at the girls' school, but I hope to make it maybe your second coolest thing that happened to you today. So we'll try it. We'll
Definitely.
try for that. So, Paul, I actually have to congratulate you because LinkedIn never lies, and you have just crossed your 10-year mark as the Chief Experience Officer of VXIT. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a long road.
What sticks out to you now where you look 10 years ago and you may have had like a mantra or a thought that would go through your mind of how you wanted to be as a leader that now makes you cringe? Is there anything like that?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I have learned a lot over the last 10 years, and the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know anything. So I think it's funny because I think back to that time and man, I thought I knew a lot. And the reality was that I didn't. And I was completely not prepared for this journey. So I'm constantly asking myself, like, what is that now? What is that for me now? Where I'll look back in another 10 years and go, oh my gosh, I should have done, X, Y, Z different. But, I think just getting up and executing on what's going to move our business farther and concentrating on those things is what we're focused on now. But yeah, I've learned a lot. It's been a long road. Like I said, it's been a great one, and I wouldn't change anything.
Oh, that's great to hear. You mentioned like doing the next thing for your business that is going to move you farther. Is that a day-to-day approach, a week-to-week approach, or even more just like a quarter-to-quarter one? How often are you thinking about what's the next incremental thing I can do for my business?
The answer to that is yes. It's actually all of it. So we run on EOS, and it is a framework that essentially helps us run the business or work on the business instead of working in the business. So all business owners, employees, we all get kind of busy with the day-to-day things, and we realize that like the work that we're doing, we're doing the actual work, we're doing IT, but we're also running a business. Those are two separate things, and they're very, very different. Because we run on EOS, it kind of helps keep our focus on what do we need to do today that will stack up to make a good week, that'll stack up to make a good month, that'll stack up to make a good quarter, that'll stack up to make a good year. So it's all kind of flows out from executing daily on, and focusing on the right things. And know that we can't solve everything all at once. And that is such my personality. Like I'm a type A. I want all of the solutions right now, and I want them changed immediately. And, it's just not reality.
What's a good day for you? Like, what is a good day defined as? Is it where everybody comes and says something really good to you, or is where nobody talks to you at all? Like, you don't hear anything.
Yeah, I mean, a good day is when I don't hear complaints from customers or employees of staff. Quite frankly, a good day for me is when I get up, when I say I'm going to get up, when I get my workout in, when I'm eating the proper nutrition. I do my cold plunges and sauna and stuff like that. Like reading, all of that actually makes a good day in my business, because I talk about this often. But you're in an airplane. What do they always tell you to do first? Put your
Put
own
your
mask
mask
on
on
if they
first.
come down. So I have to put my own mask on first in order to have a good day at work. So I have to get my things done. And I feel it when I don't. But outside of that, when I get to work, again, sitting down, going, okay, what do I have to do today that's going to push me forward? I make this thing called a power list. It was developed by this guy named Andy Frisella. And it's just 5 critical tasks. And I usually write them down on a piece of paper next to my keyboard. And I'm like, all right, what are the 5 major things that I need to accomplish today that are going to push me the farthest in the business, personally, whatever it is. And I just focus on those. And there's distractions and things that come up and that I have to deal with, and that it is what it is. But I don't let, or I try not to let other things get in the way of my priorities.
I took two things away from that one of them I was excited about. One of them I'm a little like exhausted about hearing. The first one is you make lists, and that makes me feel really good because I too have to write out a physical list of my most important tasks of the day. And I have to make sure that I'm delegating just between like 3 and 5 for that day. Otherwise, I'll want to list out everything hour by hour, and then none of it will get done.
Yeah.
None of the important stuff.
Right.
The second thing is I'm determined that 2024 is trying to tell me that if I start cold plunging, all of my problems will go away because every driven person I've spoken to this year seems to cold plunge. I got to tell you, I can't do it. I don't think it's going to happen for me. I just don't think think so, Paul.
I didn't like it first. And I'll be honest with you, there are days when I stand in front of the cold plunge, and I usually do it right when I get out of bed. So right out of bed, I go outside and I stand in front of that damn cold plunge and go, what the am I doing with my life? And I've been doing it for over a year. Like, there's still times where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but there's science behind it. Like, if you listen to Andrew Huberman or any of the guys, like, doing hard things works a muscle or part of your brain that enables you to just conquer other things. Like, it's just such a crazy thing. So, there was one day that I had to let somebody go, and it was going to be tough. And that is one of the worst parts ever of my job or anything that I've ever done, is having to fire somebody. Like, whether they quote unquote deserve it or not, it doesn't matter. But firing somebody, if you've not done it, is the worst thing in the world. It's horrific. So all that to say, I was standing in front of my cold plunge and I'm like, all right, I have a hard thing to do today, but this is also hard. So I'm purposely putting myself into, it's hard to work out. It's also hard to be overweight. Like, choose your hard. Life is hard no matter what. But you can choose what hard you go through. When you condition your mind, you become almost like callous to the hard things. And you're like, yep, I got this. It boosts whatever's in your brain. I don't know the scientific term, but it's part of your brain that just enjoys doing that.
Yeah, I'm always like, serotonin, dopamine, either one of those, give them to me. How do I get them?
Yeah.
Whichever one it is,
Exactly.
I want more of that. Well, I definitely want to dig more into what you talk about, choosing your heart, building your lifestyle, and designing your life the way that you want it to be and being intentional. But I'm going to back up real quick to talk a little bit more about VXIT. Obviously, you're an IT consulting and services company. And like I said, you just crossed 10 years with them, so you're very familiar with, I hope at this point, with what you do as a company. So why don't you tell me, what is VXIT in your own words, and where do you folks shine?
At a very high level, we're an MSP. We're a managed service provider, and we're not an MSP pretending to do a lot of different things. Like, we know what we do. We stay in our lane. I'll say, even to prospects or clients at the sales table, listen, I'm not going to sell you bullshit. I'll literally tell people that I'm not going to sell you something that we can't deliver on with excellence. So, we focus on certain industries. We have clients in about 12 different industries right now, just because the way we grew was kind of organic, word of mouth, referrals and things like that. So all of our larger clients are involved with the PE world to some degree. So we've had a lot of organic growth there. So when they acquire companies, when they grow, we grow, sort of a thing. So we service about a dozen industries. We have around 60 clients under management now, and across probably about 10 states, I think. So we're based in South Florida, but we have clients all over the place, and we have some people that we support that are overseas as well. Just within the last year, I've really focused on building out our sales engine, to kind of push us towards the goals that we've set through EOS that I was talking about earlier. So we have a 10-year target of, we want to get to 15 million. We're going to be at 6.5 million this year. So we're about 3 years into that plan. So I think that it's totally attainable. But again, I'm not looking for necessarily hyper growth. I want to do things the right way. I really care about quality, and that's one of the things that stands out, as far as we're concerned. We're really good at what we do. And I think the whole staying in your lane thing and having a high standard, like, we set a high standard. Are we perfect? Not in any way, shape, or form are we perfect. We make mistakes constantly. We have enough equity with our clients. When we make a mistake, we're able to talk about it, deal with it, and move on most times. And that's fine. I think that's really what stands out, as far as VXIT is concerned, just through our high standards. And again, we have human beings working at our company, and, we make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But we strive to always do the right thing, to communicate well, to hustle, to live and work and move with intention, to have empathy for people, all while having fun. And those are all of our core values, if you didn't catch on to that. So that's what we focus on.
Talk to me a little bit more about your approach to those industries and verticals. You mentioned private equity, you mentioned doing things the right way and not just spreading yourselves too thin, like doing everything. Tell me more about where those specialties are. Is it in the offerings that you provide or specifically the industries and verticals that you serve? And when you refer to not doing too many things, is that something you're seeing in the industry, in the managed services world, where people are like catch-alls?
I kind of threw that out there a little bit because people are like, oh, I'm going to buy a piece of software. And now we're in MSSP. And we're like, no. And actually that came up internally 2 weeks ago at our company. One of our VCIOs basically, he's like, hey, do we have any plans of becoming a MSSP? I think this would be great for, I'm like, no, because that's a whole different lane. Like we don't have the right people. We don't have the right skill set. So again, it's something that I'm not going to sell people because I'm not wholly confident that we can deliver on it with excellence. So I think that there's a lot of people out there that try to do too much. Companies, they don't focus enough on just what they do well. And the vendors are just as guilty of that. There's some specific vendors out there that come to mind and they have this thing that they have. And it's kind of what got them to where they are now. And they're like, we love this thing, but this thing needs improvement. And they're like, well, we're not going to improve this thing. How about a new thing? And we're like, we don't want a new thing. We want you to improve the thing that made you, who you are and that we originally liked about you, but you've not improved this thing and it's causing us pain. So, and that's tough on us because we're much smaller than these vendors. They're big organizations driven by private equity money and they're a sales machine and they're good salespeople. And that's a whole nother, topic that we can talk about. A lot of us within the MSP industries, we're nerds that ended up starting companies. And some of us are not like businessmen at heart. I happen to lean more towards the business side. I like that, the people, the process, the business. I am good at sales. So that's what I think has made us successful and gotten us to where we are now. My business partner, he's the brains behind what we do. So I sell the thing and, my team does the thing. But I think that there's a lot of MSP owners out there that are, again, and I was a nerd. I'm an IT guy. So that's how I started. I started as an in-house IT guy. I started in the MSP industry, I think around 2009, but I started as an in-house IT guy. So I saw both worlds and they are very different. The MSP world is like the Navy SEALs of IT. Like it's insane. The pace, everything that comes at us because we're managing so many different environments. Like when I was an in-house IT guy, I played a lot of ping pong because there wasn't a lot of like fires and things like that. And we had a couple projects a year that we focused on, but it wasn't like it's on fire every day at an MSP. I mean, go on Reddit. There's people posting constantly like, this industry sucks. It's the worst. Like just burnout and stuff like that. Cause it's high pace. And that's the consulting world. You can't get away from that. So anyways, that was, I get on a soapbox a little bit. I'm going to shut up now.
No, I'm making you're going to live on that soapbox throughout this interview. That's my goal. That's my goal. Just to have you on an apple crate the whole time. Kind of going down that same avenue. I really want to hear a success story that sort of paints a picture as far as when you say, this is how I view success, or when a client is really happy, this is what happens. Can you give me a success story from VXIT and where you said this is what our banner should look like every single time when we're evangelizing how great we are?
Let me think. I don't know that I have a single success story necessarily, but I've been kind of formulating kind of what does success and what is perfection? Because that's kind of what I was actually trying to define. We always want to strive for perfection, but how do you measure perfect? And one of the things, and I'll kind of talk about a specific process within our organization or a specific offering. So when we first started, we didn't charge for new user onboarding. So when a company, one of our clients they onboarded an employee, we were not charging an extra fee for that. And if you go out to the industry, you probably get mixed, like half do and half don't charge. We realized that we wanted to charge for it, and we wanted to charge for it because we wanted to dedicate specific resources and we wanted to make it actually like a really awesome experience. So we decided, we're like, okay, we're going to start to roll this out to our client base, and we're charging basically an onboarding fee for a new employee. And I'm talking like if a new employee starts, we have to purchase a laptop, set it up. There's a lot of work, and the folks in other MSPs that are listening to this will understand that it can be an hour or 4 or 5 hours, depending on everything you need to install and set up. Like it's a lot. And then there's some training to it. So a lot to say, we were trying to define like, what does success look like for that process? And what I think I found was that at the end or throughout that entire process, if a client or the person doesn't have to ask a question on where they stand within that process, and you get to the end and there are no additional questions, they're like, yeah, I'm onboarded. I've got everything I need. I can do my job. There's zero questions. Like, I didn't have to reach out and go, hey, where's my laptop? Hey, where is this software? Like, if there are no questions during the process or at the end of the process, I think that that's like perfection. And we have a money back guarantee as well with the onboarding. So if they don't go smoothly, like if we miss a deadline or something like that, we don't charge for it, or we'll refund the money for it. So we have a total money back guarantee for our clients, because it was something that was important. But we realized the level of care that we wanted to put towards those onboardings, we had to charge for it, because we're running a business. Like, I have to pay the right people and get them in the right position to do the job right. That's kind of what we've been formulating around success and perfection, is when somebody doesn't have to ask a question or question where they stand with the whole process. I think that's important.
Very much so. And I appreciate how you break that down, because I think everybody defines perfection differently. And some people just don't believe in the word at all. So they try to steer into a different goal as far as what success looks like for them. So I appreciate that you take it head on and say, this is what perfect looks like to me. And it might be different from how somebody else defines it, but I think it's a great goal to reach. Be sure to come back on Tuesday when we dig into Paul's new book. Thanks to Paul for joining me, and thank you for watching or listening. You can check out all episodes of Channel Insider Partner POV on channelinsider.com or on our YouTube page at youtube.com/channelinsider_news and trends. You can also listen to this and every episode as a podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow wherever possible so you never miss an episode. Come connect with Channel Insider on LinkedIn or X, or connect with me, Katie Bavoso. Once again, I'm your host, Katie Bavoso, and I'll see you next time.